Well, welcome back to More About Birth. We are here for another episode, and we have a great plan today. Shannon, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, we got to get Angie to quit dancing over here.
And you're dancing about what?
I don't know.
Just shaking it up a little bit, you know?
Ever since I said the word dervish, you've just been acting differently a couple podcasts ago.
I had the privilege of speaking to the MOPS group in Grandview last week. So...
Wait a minute. Hold the phone.
What?
Hold the phone.
What is Mott's? Because all I can think of is like the applesauce brand.
Or brooms. Brooms,
So
mops,
it's like
buckets, right?
Mott
like a
tea. It's a tea.
spin-off
Mott's.
of MOPS, Mothers of Preschoolers. You know what? I don't even know what the T stands for.
Oh, really? It's a T?
Yeah, it's
Wow,
a
I
T.
had no clue. I'm glad you asked that question.
Mothers of
Toddlers?
toddlers.
Could be. I guess I should have asked. But they wanted me to come and speak to their group, and so I said yes. And they had a bunch of questions that they put together for me, and it seems like moms are really interested in getting the questions answered that they have. Like you see all these forums online with moms groups, and they're all asking this question like, my kid's doing this, is this normal? And everybody chimes in. So we thought it would be fun to do like a Q&A once in a while, maybe even once a month on the podcast.
Yeah.
And just answer some of your questions. I actually put out a Facebook request for questions that are on your mind and got nothing.
What?
People.
Nothing.
Slackers. What is the
deal?
I did ask in a few of my childbirth classes and got a few questions from them.
Come on,
we're gonna
Facebook
start with
people, where are
those.
you?
We need your questions, folks.
I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's on Natural Care Midwifery, but that's also kind of our podcast.
You know what,
page,
we
right?
though?
want to hear from you.
You can email Natural Care Midwifery privately, because I know sometimes some of the questions you have, you don't really want to ask publicly. I get that. So we're going to start with one of the questions that I get all the time. Mom's had her baby. I get a call after a few weeks, and she says, this baby is eating constantly. This baby is not happy, doesn't seem satisfied after I nurse. Baby just wants more. And all I've done is nurse for the last 32 hours. What is wrong? Am I losing my milk? I'm going to let you answer this one.
Woo. Yeah.
No pressure.
Right. Don't mess up. So
Your motto, don't mess up.
don't mess up.
I'm going to drink my coffee. You take it from here.
So usually that means that your baby has hit a growth spurt. That is a common time around 3 weeks for baby to have a growth spurt, and they do want to eat constantly. And so no, nothing is wrong. Nothing's wrong with your milk supply. Everything's working perfectly, and you just need to kick back and put your feet up and
Take
nurse
a
your baby.
vacation, nursing vacation.
Yeah.
What they're doing is trying to increase your milk supply, and they do that by nursing constantly and telling your body, hey, we need to make more. So
Supply and demand.
I see it happen usually around 3-ish weeks. I know, I love the word ish.
Ish.
Is that even a word?
I don't know. It is now.
So
Our whole viewers
it's
are
a
listening to ish.
Shannonism. It's a Shannonism. So 3-ish weeks, some babies a little sooner, some a little later. Then again around 6 weeks, and then again around 3 months, and again around 6 months. Your baby's going to go through a growth spurt. And yep, they're going to act hungry, and they're just going to want to eat.
Yeah. And, I was actually just reading this question in The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, which is
Love that book.
one of the best, kind of the gold standard for nursing moms.
It's been around for years.
It's awesome. And I was just perusing it the other night while I was studying. And somebody wrote in, to the Leche League and asked kind of that question, I feel like I have no life. All I do is nurse the baby. They cry if I don't hold them. I can't sleep on my own at night. The mom is saying, and all these things. And their answer was, that's perfect. That's exactly it. And once you
Perfectly
flip
normal.
your perspective, because the other mom was saying, life is so good. All I have to do is hold my baby, have them on me all the time, nurse them
they're
whenever they
happy.
want, and they're so happy. happy. And it's just funny because it's
I know, glass half full, glass half empty.
Well, it's just a perspective shift. If that's what you go into it expecting to happen,
right?
And this is what I do to keep my baby happy, you're like, life's great.
I'll never forget the mom that called me. I think baby was 4 or 5 days old. She called me in tears and I said, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "I had no idea this nursing thing was so labor intensive. That's all I get done." And I said, "Yep, that's pretty normal."
That's about right.
That's pretty normal. So another big question. People always want to know, like, what's going to happen postpartum with my body? You know, what things are going to change instantly? And one of the biggies is I'll get the calls. "I am so stinky and sweaty. I just sweat constantly. I'm hot. I'm having hot flashes. What is going on? Is this normal?" Do you remember experiencing that?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's normal. So your hormones are shifting. The whole time you've been pregnant, you've had certain hormones going on, and it's causing your body to kind of retain some fluids. Make sure that you've got everything that you need. And then after the birth, all of a sudden, your body can just flush these fluids out. Your hormone levels drop, and you find yourself having hot flashes, and you're sweating off all this extra fluid. And you're also peeing all this extra fluid. Right. And you know, when you're pregnant, your bladder's like a pancake, right? Baby's smashing it, and you feel like you have to go so bad. You run to the bathroom and you pee a teaspoon. And you're like, that was not even worth getting my britches down, back up, and washing my hands over. Right. So then the baby comes, and they're always asking me, "Well, I have so much pee. It's like I go to the bathroom and I keep going and going and going and going. Is that okay?" Yes, it's okay. That's your body flushing all those fluids, and all of a sudden your bladder's big again. There's no baby head smashing it flat like a pancake.
I can't relate at all.
I can't imagine why. You know what? Postpartum's kind of like menopause. Your hormone levels drop again and you start sweating all the time. And we won't even go there. Okay.
All the fun things.
So much fun. That's a topic for another day. So, big question. Mm-hmm. How can I prepare my toddler for the birth of my new baby? You've done this more recently than me.
Yeah. Well, I tend to be a little biased, and I know it's not for everybody, but I think one of the things you can do is bring them with you to prenatals for sure. Have them be involved in that process, and consider having them at the birth, because I think when a little kid sees where this baby came from and kind of is part of that whole process, not only is it really special for them, but then they know where this baby came from. They know that it went from the tummy and came out, and here it is, rather than just showing back up at home or bringing the baby home from the hospital.
Bringing home this foreign thing.
Where did this come from?
Is this?
That took my place in the crib.
Took my place in life.
Took mommy's lap.
Yes.
It cries all the time.
Yeah. So involving them in the birth, if at all possible. But definitely prenatals are an easy one, at least in the home care setting, because, you know, the office is really well set up for that. We love to have younger siblings come and help measure tummies and listen to heart tones, and it's really fun and cute.
Yeah,
and
we have a Doppler for the kids to play with so they can listen. But that doesn't mean you can't take them to the OB's office too and just let them have a part of all that.
Yep.
I know with my kids, I always tried to make sure that before the new baby came, that they kind of got a new role. Like they were going to be the big brother or the big sister. And none of my kids were close enough together that I had to deal with this, but I hear moms talk about a lot. You know, I need to transition the toddler to a toddler bed or to a big boy bed because the baby's going to be in the crib. And that's something I really would suggest people do way ahead of time. Yeah. You don't want your toddler to feel like they got bumped.
Yeah.
So give them a new role.
Right.
Give them a new role.
There are a ton of awesome resources out there. You know, picture books you can read to your kids, DVDs, YouTube videos. It really depends on your kid. Like you have to know what they can handle, how much you want them to be a part of the birth. If you're going to have them be a part of the birth, watch some births. Watch some YouTube videos.
You can be age appropriate.
Right. And not scare them, but, you know, have them be prepared for the process. I think it's wonderful. But at the very least, there are a ton of, big brother, big sister books, baby is coming books. I just heard about a new one I haven't looked up, but it was highly recommended called 9 Months, a picture book for kids and families.
We'll have to order that for the library.
I know. I can't wait to check it out.
Well, then there's those dolls out of Canada that we talked about on one of them.
Mama Moore dolls?
Yeah, Mama Moores that you can actually, kids can play. Mama Moore.
I think I'm saying that right.
Well, and I still remember the quote, you play to normalize, which just stuck with me since that podcast. So kids play, they understand a little bit more. And then if they get to be there, this is going to be normal for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Just make it a normal thing. Talk to them about what babies are like and the sounds that they make and how babies will need help from big brother and big sister and how they can be mommy's helper when the baby comes and how mommy can have enough love for everybody. And
isn't it true, the more they're a part of the process, the more they feel
definitely
like they're there. They're included. If they're not included. I still remember when Christopher was born, our first child, shout out to him. We didn't know what was going on at all. And I felt completely out of the picture. I just waited outside in the waiting room and transitioned to our last child, Bryson.
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, Bryson, we got to be a part of all of it. I got to be there. And awesome. It was exciting to be a part of it. I felt included. So I'm sure kids have that same
it becomes
definitely
a part of their excitement also. And it's not just mom and dad's excitement because they brought this new baby home. And
at my second birth, my daughter was probably about 3.5 or so. And we bought her these little pink scrubs.
They were so cute.
And they said big sister on them. And she was totally a part of the birth, checking my temperature. And
what's with you and the cool clothes? Shannon talked about your shoes or whatever they were. Now you got these cool fashion for your children at
She's
birth.
like my fashion guru.
No, not really. Totally not. But I just, I really wanted her to feel a part of the birth, and I felt like she was old enough and she could handle it, and she loved being a part of there. And she looked super cute in her little pink scrubs.
Very cute.
So there's lots of creative things you can do.
So how involved was Nicole? I don't remember with Bryson's birth.
Don't you remember her? She was 8 at the time, and we had a home water birth, and Daddy helped catch the baby.
What?
I birthed the baby, of course.
Yeah.
The midwife,
I take all the credit.
Picked the baby up out of the water.
I caught the baby, so I get all the credit.
And she looked at us afterwards when it was time to put a diaper on him and dress him, and she goes, "You got to birth the baby. Dad got to catch the baby. I'm dressing the baby."
That sounds like Nicole,
cute.
Right? That's awesome.
That's
totally was into it.
Huh. Good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. My baby has gooey eyes. Is this normal? It can be very normal. Most babies don't have a lot of goo in their eyes. However, those little tiny tear ducts, those openings right in the corner of your eye, when a baby's born, they are very, very tiny. And a client of mine who was an eye doctor told me something very fascinating. She said that there's a covering or a little membrane in there that by the time baby's born, that it's supposed to break open or separate and allow, function of that channel. Wow. And a lot of times it's not completely open. So I know with our second child, by the time he was 2, he had gooey eyes constantly because his tear ducts were plugged. Yeah. And so he had to go in and have them, surgically opened, which was an experience, let me tell you. But most babies, when they get gooey eyes, it's just a temporary thing. And as they grow a little bigger, that will open, and you can just massage those up toward the opening from the corner of the eye. And then good old breast milk.
Yep.
It's the cure for everything.
It is.
When your baby's done nursing, just pool some breast milk in the corner of your baby's eye and force the eye open, and it will wash over it. And breast milk has great antibacterial properties, and that should help. Massage and breast milk.
Yep.
So do you think that the ducts are closed because they have fluid in the womb and they don't need to have fluid?
I honestly have no idea.
Because aren't our tear ducts designed to keep our eyes moist and make our eyelids.
That's a good
when we
question.
blink? So that's a great question. So we'll have to find out from one of our network.
I will have to call this previous client and ask her more about that because it was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
I was always under the impression that it was just plugged. And she told me that there's actually a membrane. And if it's not completely open, then it causes
That's interesting.
congestion.
Fascinating.
However, I do want to put out a disclaimer here.
Right.
If your baby's eye is very gooey and green and nasty and it does not improve with massage and breast milk, then you definitely want to have them seen because it could be an actual eye infection.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's the first half of today's Q&A, which is really exciting.
Woo.
And it sounds like we're going to have a caller call in planned in our next with a question. And we would love to get more questions on your website. They can put questions there as well as on
just
Facebook.
email the website, Natural Care Midwifery, nc-midwifery.com.
Awesome. We'll keep having Q&As as much as we have questions, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Please, people, send us your questions.
Okay, we'll be right back after the break with more questions and answers and more about birth with Angie and Shannon, our hosts. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to More About Birth. This is our second half of our Q&A, and I'm here with Shannon Bennett and Angie Hansen. We've been laughing during the break just about all kinds of things in our families and relationships, and we actually have some good questions right now. We're going to fire at each other. So I'm going to start. Are you guys ready?
Probably not.
Here's my question. So what was the biggest difference? You both experienced hospital births, right? And then home births. Is that correct?
Angie
Mine
didn't
were
do a
all at
hospital.
Oh, you were all at home. Okay, so I'll direct this at Shannon. What was the biggest difference for you having a birth at the hospital and having a birth at home? I'm sure lots of people are out there wondering that because it's too long ago for me to really remember what motivated you.
So I have to tell you that my hospital birth, as births go, was pretty great. I mean, it wasn't too long. I didn't have any trouble pushing my baby out. I had the support of my mom and my mother-in-law and my husband. However, I felt like I wasn't given the opportunity to make decisions. It was just an assumption that certain things were going to happen a certain way. I was given a shot of Demerol because someone mentioned that I was in pain. Wasn't there something that could be done to kind of take the edge off it for me? Next thing I know, I'm getting Demerol, which no one consulted me.
Wow.
Baby came really quick, and so his breathing was depressed because of that. So that kind of started my quest to wonder about home birth and how that would be different. And I think the biggest difference that really stands out is that every decision was mine.
So when you were in the hospital, you felt like the decisions weren't yours.
Yeah, it was
of course, you chose a hospital birth.
It was kind of the routine, and they have a way of doing things. It's their routine and their regulations, and I get that. But I just decided I wanted to decide.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be my decision. And then the fact that there's something about crawling into your own bed in your own jammies with your baby after your birth, as opposed to being in a strange bed and strange jammies,
with people in and out all the time.
Yeah, that was just the coolest, crawling into my own bed. So,
well, and I did not give birth at the hospital, but my first pregnancy, I did the first 20 weeks through a normal OB office. And so the biggest difference that I saw was, this woman it wasn't in this area, it was somewhere else. And this woman was fine. She was nice, but they were the typical 15-minute appointments. Bam, 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 check things out. Maybe you have time for one question or half a question and you're out the door. So it's very efficient and succinct and
got the job done. Just
gets the job done. But, but then switching over and doing the home birth care for the rest of the pregnancy and birth, it was just looking back very, very impersonal. It's just,
And that's my experience with doctors' offices and chiropractors. It just always seems to be very quick, very professional.
Yep.
And timely. And then I see Shannon with the clients for an hour and then talking as they go out the door. It's definitely different from my perspective.
I had to laugh the other day. I didn't really get it. Some of my clients actually deliver at the hospital, but they have me do shared care. And then I go with them to the hospital. I do all their prenatal postpartum. And I don't go to the doctor, but I took my son to the doctor the other day. And we waited 20 to 30 minutes out in the waiting room, got into the office. The nurse came in for 5 minutes, left. We waited another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the doctor came in for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And literally had 1 foot out the door, standing in the doorway like she was running late.
Yeah.
And I just felt stressed, like I couldn't ask the questions I needed to. And I came home and I was like, holy cow, no wonder people love hour-long appointments.
Yeah. Yep.
No wonder they love being able to walk in and go directly into the office and sit down and bring their kids with them.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you, Angie.
Oh, boy.
So if you got a call from a mom with, how about a 4-week-old baby?
Okay.
And she said that her baby normally has 6 or 7, 8 wet diapers a day. And all of a sudden, her baby is not having but 2 wet diapers a day that she's noticed. What would you tell her to look for and maybe do?
Oh, boy. You got to love these pop quizzes.
Yep.
Well, I would want to check for signs of dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
Are they ever having any tears when they cry real hard? Or how does the top of their head feel? Is it like real indented on the soft
fontanel
spot? Mm-hmm. Or is it, feeling normal? How's their skin? Is their skin really peely and like saggy, like elephant dry skin? Or is it normal and nice and smooth and plump? Those are some of the...
Is it smooth and plump? What a vision of a really chubby baby.
Right. Yes. The cherubs. So as long as they're not dehydrated, that would be the first thing I would want to know. And if they're not, I would say, I'm not an expert, but I think it's normal for those wet and dirty diapers both to decrease the older a baby gets.
They do. They tend to hold it longer. Yeah. Their bladder gets fuller. And anytime I'm seeing a baby with decreased wet diapers, I usually ask about nursing, how long are they nursing? And it's funny because there's a difference between foremilk and hindmilk. So foremilk is like the beginning of that nursing period where the baby nurses and that milk has a really high water content.
Yeah.
And then that second half of the nursing, if they stay on the same breast long enough, has a real high fat content that helps them gain weight.
Right.
So you might ask yourself, how long's your baby nursing? Are they getting enough of that watery foremilk? So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if they're gaining weight, interacting with you, meeting their milestones, looking not dehydrated,
Good
it's kind of common sense.
Right.
If you're not seeing any color in the diaper, like anything red or, they're not acting like they're in extreme pain, like they're getting an infection or something, then they're probably just fine.
Give it a few days.
We're going to throw the headphones on here because we have a caller ready. So
yeah.
There they are.
Are you passing out headphones?
Passing out headphones. So you can talk to our caller.
Oh, this is official, folks.
Is it going to mess up my hair?
Probably.
Cool. We're going to have headphone head.
Do we look awesome?
No, we really look like podcasters.
Yes.
Okay, we are on with Nicole Bennett. This is your daughter.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Is she still a Bennett? I thought she got married years ago.
We were just talking at the break about having you on the show, and but here you are already.
Yes. I had a question. I was wondering, having given birth yourself, what is one piece of advice a midwife you would give to a pregnant you? Like, what's something important you might share?
Oh, that's deep.
That's a great question.
For me, it would be don't eat Kentucky Fried Chicken the whole time you're pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Because you'll have a 10-pound baby.
No Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No
You heard it
Kentucky
here.
Fried Chicken. Wow. I would probably, you're talking if I had to go back and tell myself years ago,
Yeah.
give myself advice.
Yeah, like what's your no?
Get more
Wow.
exercise, eat a little healthier, drink more water.
No chocolate.
Oh, chocolate wasn't the problem.
Would
It
never
was
say
the
that to
Kentucky
myself.
Fried Chicken and the gut rot I used to eat when I was young.
Mm.
I didn't have a very healthy diet. It's no wonder I had a 10-pound baby.
Mm.
Whose birthday it is today, actually. Happy birthday, Nathan.
Aww.
Your brother's birthday today.
It is. I know.
Yeah,
So-
I think seriously, it would be nutrition. Nutrition was not something that I really started studying and applying until I was pregnant with you.
Wow. So Angie, what would you tell your pregnant self if you could go back in time?
That's pretty tough. I felt pretty well educated and I felt pretty confident in the process and I tried to eat pretty healthy and everything.
I didn't.
I think that if anything, okay, so I tend to always kind of lose it. I mean, not like flailing, thrashing, losing it, but when I start pushing, I always get a little anxious and Shannon always
She
makes fun
says,
of me.
Help me. Somebody help me.
So I think, it's gotten better with each birth and with my third, it was even the best and I felt like I was more in control of that process. And so I
Yeah.
think if
I
I
just
could go
like to
back,
tease her.
she does. If I could go back, I think it would be to just empower myself even more for those moments of pushing to like, you've got this, you're in control. You can slow down. You don't have to push like a crazy woman. You can push slowly. And it's okay. It's totally normal. What you're feeling is normal and just go
Just
with
to
it
normalize
and try
it
to
all.
go slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an excellent, deep question. I was
Yeah,
not ready
thanks
for
a
that.
lot.
Thanks, Nicole.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining us on today's More About Birth. And that was a great question. So maybe we'll have you on live.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
We'll talk to you
Thanks.
later.
See ya.
Bye.
That was really good.
That was a deep question.
I wasn't ready for that.
I really did eat cruddy. Now that I look back, with my first, it was Taco Bell. I was young, lived in an apartment right next to Taco Bell. And yeah, it was not a good thing. Oh, and I worked at an ice cream store.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no.
That's the undoing. I tell you what, I don't know who founded Taco Bell, but I've always claimed it was a pregnant woman because I'm serious. No matter how healthy you eat, there is a draw of Taco Bell for pregnant women.
It's the salt.
I hear it all the time. It was true for me too. I mean, I didn't eat it like gobs and
You know what?
crazy,
One of my
but-
pregnancies, though, the smell of Taco Bell smelled like dirty, soapy, greasy dish soap.
dish soap.
Yeah, like dishwater, dirty, greasy dishwater with dish soap.
Maybe
in
you
it.
had eaten so bad up
Blah.
to that point, your body was toxed.
So yeah, I guess it was after my second, when I was thinking about getting pregnant with my third, that I had met a home birth midwife that did some classes on just holistic living and nutrition. And so I started attending her classes and it really turned my life around. Totally different pregnancy.
That's awesome.
And she didn't weigh 10 pounds.
Well, I ate pretty darn healthy with my second baby, and he was 9'8". And we called him a vitamin baby because I was taking so many vitamins.
She was. I used to tease her. I'm like, that's a full meal.
And
a full
it
meal.
really was. And so we always, and just a ginormous, healthy looking placenta. And it was like, this was like this vitamin baby that I grew.
So if you want a good looking placenta, can't talk. So if you want a good looking placenta, you need to eat a truckload of vitamins.
I get apparently.
So I get asked a lot, how long is it going to take my belly to go down after the baby comes out?
Never.
Typically your belly looks still about 5 months pregnant. I kind of laugh after the baby comes out and mama's wanting to nurse, and she's got all these cool little things like nursing pillows and all this stuff. And she's like, honey, go grab the nursing pillow.
Yeah.
And she puts it on, and it won't fit around that belly because it's still pretty big.
Yeah.
It takes several days for that belly to start going down, and sometimes it takes several months.
Involution.
You want to explain involution?
That's a fancy word for just saying the way the uterus shrinks back down to its normal size.
That happens quickly. Remember, it starts out the size of a watermelon.
Yeah.
After the baby's born, it's about the size of a cantaloupe. You deliver the placenta, and it's about the size of a grapefruit. Within a couple hours, that thing is down to the size of an apple.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. So not sure what happened to our other caller, but I think we're going to call this a wrap today.
All right. Sounds good.
And please send in some questions that are weighing on your mind, and we will get to them on our next Q&A.
Well, there you got it. More About Birth, episode Q&A 1. Thanks, gals, for your excellent guidance and knowledge, and we appreciate that. So please get out your questions and get them to us so we can have another Q&A. So thanks for joining us today. For More About Birth, check us out on naturalcaremidwifery.com, our podcast page. And if you'd like to see it in video, it's available in video as well on More About Birth on YouTube. We will see you next time here on More About Birth.
See you later.
You guys ready?
No.
She's having a moment.
I'm recording.
Pull it together.
I'm recording and rolling this just so you know. Are you ready?
Boy. Yes, roll.
Well, welcome to. I can't even do it. So, Larry.